This video is going to be a film study look at Odell Beckham Jr.'s performance against his old team, the Los Angeles Rams, and the Ravens' 37-31 overtime win on Sunday. I'm going to talk about stats a little bit. I feel like I have to, but not overall catches. I really don't get involved in all that, particularly with the nature of this offense. It's a spread offense. Multiple guys are going to touch the ball. That's the idea, to not be so focused on one player, and I think that includes Lamar. Sunday, for the most part, he was used as a facilitator. Of course, he did end up with 70 yards rushing, but another stat that I want to mention, Odell Beckham Jr.'s yards per target is 8.9 in 2023. That's the third highest of his career. That's the best he's had in yards per target since his second year with the Giants in the NFL. I thought that was extremely surprising. He's clearly generated a number of big plays down the field. He did with the 46-yard touchdown run or touchdown catch against the Rams on Sunday. He had a 40-yarder against the Browns, a really big one, I think, for 52 yards against the Bengals, against man coverage. This is a guy, he reminds me of former NBA player Joe Johnson, someone who can hit clutch shots, but is only going to shoot 43, 44% for the year, but he can win in those moments when you need him to win. I think I've made that comparison before. Some of you, if you're not NBA fans and you don't know a whole lot about Joe Johnson, like you'll think, well, that's a poor comparison. Odell Beckham Jr., a Hall of Fame track at one point. Well, Joe Johnson should be in the Hall of Fame too. I believe he's 14th in his career in the NBA in scoring, but we'll get to the stats. 31 catches, 57 targets, 3 touchdowns. The catch percentage is the thing I want to focus on. It's totally in line with all of his stats dating back to 2018. 31 catches, 57 targets. I think it's 54.8% or 55% catch percentage this year. Didn't play 2022. 2021 with the Rams, 56% catch percentage. 2020, the year before with the Browns, 54% catch percentage. 2019, 55% catch percentage. You see where I'm going here. We're getting the player we paid for. I was one of those people who wondered if the price tag was too high. We already had a winning culture here. We have Lamar Jackson. We have a great defensive coordinator, a lot of depth there, a lot of guys who can play. I think Odell Beckham Jr. also brings a winning mentality, maybe a different version of or flavor of the same food, winning food combination. And Odell just brings a little bit different flavor to it. Another thing that I think is interesting is if you look at his play recently, he had 4 catches, 97 yards against the Rams. 3 weeks ago against the Bengals, he had 4 for 116. The week before that, in the home loss to the Browns, he did have the 140-yard touchdown catch. This is a guy who's made big plays, and I think he'll continue to do so if he stays healthy. All right, let's get to some of the film here. This is going to be his first catch, I believe, of the game. It's a 2nd and 10, second possession. He's up top, the little sluggo route. It's not really a go to the top side. The DB's going to jump it, and Odell recognizes it. Lamar is clearly looking at Zay first, I think. And the cool thing about the way Lamar played on Sunday is he was able to get to the second read and third read so many times. There's got to be a pass pro element to that. The pass pro was better. He had a lot of time here to zing this out. A great adjustment by OBJ. People call it ball tracking, whatever you want to call it. He looks like a guy to me who would have been a brilliant athlete in any of a number of sports, soccer, basketball, or even baseball. But as it stands, that's a 20-yard catch on the second possession. Kind of let the Rams know you're not going to be able to just jump these routes, even though the slant route for OBJ has been a big one this year. Fourth possession, this is actually going to be complete to Zay Flowers down at the bottom. You got OBJ at the top side of the screen. Again, it's a 3rd and 7. Fourth possession, the out motion really confused the Rams here. Focusing on OBJ in this video for a reason. He's open and available more than he gets the football. Am I saying he should get the throw here? No. What I am saying is the catch percentage might be low in your opinion, 55%, in line with everything that we thought coming in. He's available more often than he's actually getting the football thrown to him, but so is Isaiah Likely. So is Zay Flowers. So is Rashad Bateman. It's a spread offense. That's what it's designed to be, where no one is the core, the center of it, other than Lamar, that is, in terms of overall chances. OBJ's having a great season. Only had 31 catches. You can call that, Coach, that can't be a great season if you only have 31 catches. Number one, he dealt with injuries for, I think, the better part of 2.5 weeks. Don't think he was completely healthy in that game against the Steelers, number 2. And number 3, we don't need him to have 70 catches. We never did. Still fourth possession, down at the bottom side of the screen. Essentially the same concept as the first catch I showed you, sluggo, but deeper version of it. I think Daryl Johnston, who I thought did a great job, called it a in and up, whatever. It's the same route that he hit for a touchdown against the Green Bay Packers in 2021. I think on the road, same side of the field, veering in, making the safety think he's going to the post, and then up the field. Lamar has already determined where he's going to go with the football. He's just waiting to confirm and see what the safety does. Ton of time, gets it out here. OBJ, credit to him, admitted that he ran the wrong route, which kind of does a little bit to deal with or short circuit the narrative about Lamar and deep balls and being incapable of being accurate down the field. We've got a great example here of OBJ's veteran leadership, if you ask me, and his ability to make plays first. He's got to be able to make this play in order to be able to talk about it later in the press conference. Do I think that he's standing up for Lamar by answering questions that way? Yeah, I do. I think he's an extremely intelligent dude who understands where he is in his career, but also what he brings to this team, what he brings to this offense. Another weapon who can make plays down the field. I've got enough evidence at this point, for me anyway, week 14, that this dude can make plays down the field. My Joe Johnson reference is kind of a poor one. He almost reminds me of a basketball player who's 33 years old who can still rise up and dunk on people. Maybe the comparison doesn't work for you and you've got a better one. If so, let me know in the comments section. But I don't know how else to compare these deep plays down the field. 46-yard touchdown against the Rams, 40-yard touchdown on a slant against the Browns. Earlier in the season, I think a 34 yards or something like that, a reception on a slant on third down against the Titans in London. He's in a 50-plus yarder against CTB, one of the better man defenders for the Bengals at home in Week 11. I don't know what other comparison to make. Athletically, he's still able to thrive. Moving forward in the game, this is 9th possession now. So we're into the 4th quarter, and this is brilliant by Lamar. Talked about this in the video that I put out on him. If you didn't check it out, I'll try to link it up in the description. He's glanced left here initially. Aguilar is going out into the flats, going to hold this corner, and then OBJ is going to bring his route to the sideline. I think Lamar looking to the downside of the field, the bottom side of our screen, Lamar's left, is just holding the safety, who doesn't even appear to be really looking at Lamar at this point. But if Lamar was looking to that side initially, I wonder if that safety would kind of push out to OBJ a little bit more. You can see very clearly that it's a cover 2. Lamar finds OBJ over top of the corner, outside of the safety, in the soft spot in that zone. Credit to Monken for the concept, and credit to Lamar for understanding the routes that he's got. He's got Zay underneath, potentially sit this down or run it, to that side if it's man, and then OBJ to the sideline. I think you've got a great example of a cover 2 beater to the top side and a man beater to the bottom side. In this case, Zay's route, he sits it down. Lamar chooses not to take it because you got 2 linebackers there kind of leveraging a one in and one out. They're deeper than Zay. Zay's underneath of them. But Lamar understands that's not where he needs to go with the ball. It's a great example of Lamar moving through things. Yes, OBJ is wide open, and if there's people who want to discount every single Lamar Jackson throw at this point in 2023, I mean, you're not going to convince them. All right. Later on, 11th possession, and this one's going to be short to Zay Flowers for 11 yards at the bottom side of the screen. OBJ's at the top side, basically running a mirrored route. I included this to talk about the targets. Sometimes Lamar chooses to go to Zay's side. Sometimes he chooses to go to OBJ's side. OBJ's up here to the top side. Zay is down here to the bottom side. Mirrored concepts completely with stop routes by these guys. And then these guys running a little in to just hold the seam defender is all that is. In this case, Lamar hits Zay, who then gets up and is almost able to power through a tackle for 11 yards. Another target for OBJ, and this one I think is really cool. It's a 2nd and 10, a big moment. If you ask me, you're talking about a late 3rd quarter. And it's late 4th quarter, excuse me. And it's over the middle, late in the progression. Lamar's reading this from left to right, from his perspective, downside of the field to top side for us. I think it's a really nice job of Zay Flowers running through here and the Rams just passing this off. I think you've got man here by the safety, who in another video I misidentified as an inside linebacker, and he just passes that off to 53. Man on the backside, man down here to the front side. So that route was passed off by Zay because of the underneath nature of it. and Lamar is able to come back to OBJ for 14 yards over the middle. Like I said, this is fourth quarter. I think it's a huge moment on this 2nd and 10 to be able to get 14 yards. Moving forward on that possession from the 21-yard line, this is the go-ahead touchdown to Zay. OBJ is not on the field, to be honest with you. You got Aguilar, you got Bateman, and you got Flowers. The one thing I do want to mention is, and OBJ is not involved here, is the veteran element that is brought. Nelson Aguilar, got to give him credit for being, pre-snap, communicating with Lamar. Hey, I'm going to run this higher or deeper, and I'm going to bring that safety out of the picture. He's going to have to deal with me. I think that's part of the thing that OBJ has brought as well. Again, he's not on the field, and I'm doing a film study about OBJ. It's like, what are you doing here? My point is, signing Nelson Aguilar, signing OBJ, I would look at it as almost one signing from the standpoint as they're similar guys. No, they're not similar in terms of career production at all. OBJ's produced a whole lot more. Hall of Fame caliber tracked were it not to suffer an injury at one point. But him and Aguilar is veterans who bring an element to this team that we maybe didn't have in previous years. We had other veteran guys come in, but they didn't still retain the level of explosiveness that these guys have. The 2-point conversion pass to Zay Flowers is an amazing example of Lamar's commitment to winning, first of all, because he's willing to take this hit, number one. Number two, for whatever reason, he's not going to likely. He must see that this guy's hedging over the top and would have, a possible path to go ahead and tackle likely short of the pylon, and we needed these 2 points. But also, Lamar's toughness, man. He's throwing the football. The ball's out already. Getting hit in his legs as he delivers an extremely accurate throw. While the completion percentage wasn't there for Lamar on Sunday, and while there was some missed throws downfield, I think he severely underthrew the ball to Rashad Bateman that ended up being an interception, number one. And number two, I think he overthrew a ball to Rashad Bateman earlier in the game. This is a brilliant example of Lamar making winning plays in high leverage situations against a team that was playing well. I personally don't think the Rams are nearly as talented as other people have given them credit for, but they get to play Washington this week, and I think they'll probably take their defense to the woodshed. But in terms of the Rams defense, we'll see how talented they are with some of the games they have remaining, particularly their last one against the 49ers. But in any case, talking about OBJ, I almost feel a little guilty about how many videos I've done on him this year. I look back, and I think this is the fourth one that's solely been focused on him, even though I digress at times and talk about other players. He's a fun player to watch for a lot of reasons. He's extremely talented, number one. He's a veteran. I loved how he came out in the shirt that was an ode to his time with the Rams and the Super Bowl they won there. That seems to me to be a high level of maturity and character. Not saying that we didn't already have those guys on the team, but for someone to come in with his pedigree, with his history, his unique set of skills, and fit right in, number one, and number two, in a classy way, show respect to the other team before the game, he's just operating at a different level. He's operating at a different tier than other players in the NFL because of how short his time is to be looked at as an elite NFL producer. You may say, well, he's not elite, coach. He's only got 31 catches and 3 touchdowns. I think he's having a fantastic season for us, given the number of targets that he's had. I think he's earned more targets, but the cool thing about this receiving core, tight ends, and running backs is most of those guys have. All of them, in fact, except for maybe a few. Appreciate you guys' time, man. Let me know what you think of the film study look at OBJ and how he played, how he produced yet another big play down the field. 3 of the last 4 games, he's had a 40-plus yard reception. If he's able to stay healthy, I don't really see any reason that he can't continue to provide that level of big playability. If you think other Ravens fans would enjoy this content, this film study look at OBJ and how he played against his former team on Sunday, then please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach.